And that whole process just goes on. And then someone gave me a book, which was The Alchemist.
Yeah, I love The Alchemist.
The Alchemist,
yeah,
by Paulo Coelho, I think. Paulo Coelho, The Alchemist. Check it out. It's a big book, I think. And again, that I read that and it was like, oh.
Yeah. Oh.
So
yeah.
you search for something, or we're all trying to get to. In these days, whatever it is for different people, like we look at Instagram and we see the thing that we think we're aiming at, and it's this thing, but it's not really.
Yeah.
It's just the journey is like, I don't know. You just have to keep opening doors and going through them and trying. What's in here? I like it. I'm in here, I'll go through the next one. I don't like it, shut the door, come out. But all of a sudden, when you get out of that kind of mainstream, kind of restricted, the telly, 10 o'clock on Saturday, this is on, and the news, and then the breakfast show, and then and it's just like a flat. It's almost like you're on antidepressants or something. You're just flat in the middle. And then the right book, or the bit of training, or some good sleep, the right thing at the right time, and then the floodgates open.
Yeah,
The
definitely.
Alchemist. Yeah. Paulo Coelho, yeah. Check that book out. It's only a short book. It's a beautiful book.
It's lovely. I mean, that was the second book that I ever read.
Really?
Yeah, the second book. And like for me, like even now, I'm still able to relate to it because I think, I'll be 30 in 2 months' time. And honestly, Sam, like, 5 years ago, if someone had told me, when you're 30, you're not gonna have a house yet, you're not gonna have a husband or kids, I would have been like, shut up. Are you kidding? Like, what is wrong with this? Why haven't I got these things? But actually, it is a book that I've went back to and flicked through recently because I do, I love what you and Alex have and with the kids, but sometimes I can find myself comparing and being like, I'm just
normal,
not there. Yeah, it's normal, but it's like I'm not there yet. And but then I just have to think, actually, this is my path and my journey, so that's okay that I haven't got these things, because I think if it was going to happen, it would have happened for me now. But for whatever reason, I'm just like, it just hasn't happened yet. So
but that's the most healthy way to look at it, because when we have these ideas growing up, and again, the culture injects such a rigid kind of map of what you're supposed to do. At 16, you're asked to make choices about what you're going to do with the rest of your fucking life. I think it's been proven at this point, and Aidan will probably know better than me, but I think the frontal cortex, which doesn't develop, certainly in males, maybe in humans, just a full stop, until you're 25. That's like you're processing kind of problem-solving, rational part of your brain.
Yeah.
And you're 25 before that really fully matures, I think. Is that right, Aidan? Fuck knows.
This is so
sounded
clever.
good, though. Cut this bit out. If it's wrong, keep it in there. We'll tell the kids that's what's going on. Right.
Wait, I know that, like babies, that isn't it, like their skull has to, like, unfold when they come out.
Yeah, they have the soft spot on the top, don't they?
I wonder, you might be right.
I think have a dig around, see what you can find, because I don't want to start telling people shit about the brains that's wrong.
I know, when they'll get to 25 they'll be thinking,
but no, I've heard Dr. Robert Sapolsky talk about that, and he's the guy who's studied like baboons, I think, for something like crazy, like I think he studied like a big pack or a school, I forget what you call a hive of baboons, but he studied them for like I think 30 or 40 years.
Wow.
And he's I'm sure it's him that I listen to, and he talks about the prefrontal cortex is like you're 25 before that fully develops, and you become like a rational decision making, or at least you've got the apparatus to be there. So when it comes to like being 16 and in the cultural kind of narrative of like, right, I'm going to be an architect. No, I'm going to be a fucking fashion designer. Oh, and then I'm going to commit 4 years. And these days, 4 years and 60 grand to pursuing that decision you make when you're 16 in some university somewhere, you know, and then you realise by the time you're 19 that you've met these new people in this different city with a different perspective, and maybe someone gave you a book that you read, and then you went, oh, hang on a minute, I don't want to work in a fucking, you know, and then you're committed to a fucking, you know, you're in year 2 of a God knows how much course, and like you get the confused, and then you, you know, it's crazy. We're kind of, you're imprinted with an idea of by this stage you should have this and you should have that. And
it's mad, and I think that's what I've struggled with, because I honestly thought like you went to school, you went to college, you got a good job, you met the man of your dreams, you got married, you had kids, and then that was it. But then like everything that's in between, all of that is still just is beautiful. And and you know, I never thought I would have been sort of just purely on my own with no attachments, but I think I've just got to make like the most of it now for what it is. And
I can tell you, from my point of view at least, I think that's the most healthy way you can look at it. I know lots of people who are in and around your age who are confused, you know, who have an expectation or an ideology of where they'd like to be, or what they expected that they would be at, or what they would think that the culture or family members think they might be at.
That's a big one,
And you can get so trapped in that. And you mentioned it not long back about getting caught in a groove of like you get in from your job that you don't really like, and you just slick the telly on because you're just pleased to be out of the fucking office or wherever the fuck, and then you watch the fucking show and like you think, you know, I'm only 26, I've got time, and before you know it you look again and you're 30, you know, and like you kind of just, it's difficult. And I think taking on experience and sort of being brave, like you mentioned with your YouTube, I think that's great, because whatever you're doing now, whether you end up having a successful page that's got 20,000 subscribers and your videos are in whatever, and whatever happens, the exercise of you going through the discipline of the process, like learning the videos, learning the apps, learning about lighting, learning about fucking this camera does this and aperture and blah, 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 you know, and speaking in a certain way and kind of present yourself right, and being honest and open. That whole process, whether or not you hit these numbers or not, that's experience that you've gathered. It's opened up avenues of emotional availability, I guess.
Definitely.
You know,